Yep.
Will the Undisputed Era get a clean sweep at NXT TakeOver 25 this coming Saturday? I am Luco, and this is El Fagador Laurie Blake. Over there is old Andy Dadson, who's going to be monitoring your super chat, so get those in, as well as your regular comments. Give this video a thumbs up, give us a subscribe, share it around with all your friends, and do whatever it is that YouTube algorithms demand that we do.
Oh, that ran out of steam at the end there, didn't it? It was really building somewhere, and then you were like,
Anyway, this is that's how our sex life goes. Anyway, this is the post NXT Wrestle Ramble edition, where we're going to be kicking off talking about the old Undisputed Era, who stood tall at the end of the night, and they have got. I think we talked about this before on the show. We think this is the first time that all 4 members of the Undisputed Era are in different matches on an NXT card.
Yes.
You got Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Era. You've got Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish going for the tag titles in the 4-way ladder match. And you've got Adam Cole, Baby, going for the NXT Championship in the main event.
Against Johnny Champion.
Against Johnny Champs. So big night for the Undisputed Era.
Absolutely.
They've been having a lot of issues as of late, some might say. Bit of dissension within the ranks. But can they get a clean sweep this coming Saturday?
Oh, I really feel like it could be on the cards, you know? Like, I feel like the end of this episode of NXT, where they beat down the rest of the tag division and they stand tall on top of the ladder in this pose you can see in the backdrop here. Like, that was a big statement to me, and I felt like this is the kind of cohesive unit coming back together again. However, I can also see, like, my predictions for this show, I'm really struggling to come up with what I think is going to happen, because it's either none of them win, all of them win, or I reckon 2 of them win and Roddy loses.
Yeah, you see, that's where I'm also going as well. I think Randy's done his predictions for this show already, because if you're part of Wrestle League, one of our Patreon benefits, it's not really the word I'm after. What about Patreon things? What about Patreon things? There you go. Thank you very much. Perks. Thank you, Randy. Is that you get to be a part of Wrestle League and predict against us. And I've been really trying to think about this today. And Randy, you said in your predictions you did that you've got Roddy is the only one losing his match.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense, because one of the rumors is that Matt Riddle is going to be going for the NXT Championship at the Toronto event that they're going to do before SummerSlam. But I'm almost thinking, I'm thinking along the similar lines of you. I think that, and Randy in this, there's 2 of them are winning and one of them is losing. But I'm wondering if it's Cole that's losing.
Yes, I can see that too, yeah.
Yeah, so you almost build up the nights to be like the Undisputed Era are winning all of their matches, and then Adam Cole is the one that fails at the end.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. That's kind of where I'm kind of sitting at the moment.
That doesn't override the entire landscape of NXT. We're just going like, it's now just the Undisputed Era thing, and like Roddy would then probably go for the North American title to get that full, we're finally undisputed. But yeah, I definitely can see it being, it's one of the 2 of them. And because the whole story before they had to sort of go, oh no, they've taken everyone, and like revamp everything, it seemed to be building to a tag match, right? Between Cole and O'Reilly versus Fish and Strong, which I feel like in my imaginary picture of it would have come down to Fish and O'Reilly in the ring being like, I don't really want to fight you, dude. And like they're having to decide the future of the Undisputed Era by picking who's going to take the pin, you know, and like which one of Adam Cole or Strong is going to be like the leader of the gang. Which
would be really fascinating if they do that. And Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish are the tag champs.
Yeah.
So you've got the tag champs on opposite sides.
Yeah. Oh, see, that could be really cool.
That's kind of bonkers.
I'm actually I'm kind of falling more in with the Cole loses maybe. I don't, because it feels too early to take the title off Johnny as well.
100%.
Definitely feels like very early in that run. Admittedly, he is much better when he's not as the chaser than the champ. So maybe they do want to get the title off him and have. You know, if you were going to do a whole clean sweep, you would have the most brutal beatdown from the Undisputed Era, probably writing him off TV for a while, I would imagine. But I am getting swayed by the idea that Cole doesn't win.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of thinking, well, we're going to be doing our NXT
so
predictions
hard to choose.
after we've gone live with this. Me, Laurie, and Pete are going to be sitting down to give our NXT. Ollie's exact quote was, I'm not going to do the predictions. I'm not a mark and don't watch NXT. So he's not going to be joining us for that one. In reality, he's doing business stuff. So the three of us are going to be recording our predictions. But we've kind of given away some of our thoughts for the tag match as well.
Yeah.
Which was kind of like where all of this has come from. Because the main event of the show was Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch versus the Forgotten Sons. Match barely got started, really. You had like Burch started strong, and then the Forgotten Sons are so good. Like just running into you with a big uppercut right at the start of the match.
Come on then.
But I also think the credits of Forgotten Sons bumping like madmen to get over Burch and Lorcan's offense. I thought they were really, really good at this.
Yes, they really were.
And like the Forgotten Sons shut them down a little bit, but eventually Riker gets ejected by the referee. He goes up the ramp, gets attacked by the Street Profits, and then the Street Profits run down to the ring, attack into the ring, DQ, ref throws the match out. Thank you, Profits chants breaks out from the crowd because they beat up the Forgotten Sons. And then Undisputed Era come down and they just beat up everyone because they've got 2 extra men.
Yeah.
So they sort of like lay a trap because it's Cole and Strong that kind of like wipe them out at the top, and then O'Reilly and Fish attack from nowhere, almost like the Raptors.
From
Clever
Jurassic Park.
Clever girls. And
Clever fish.
And then eventually they stand tall at the end, up on top of this ladder, as you can see in the thumbnail if you're watching the video version of this. But I thought one of the other really intriguing points about this, we'll get into the tag division stuff in a minute, but I thought one of the really intriguing points about this was how strong they made Jackson Riker look.
Yes.
Because Jackson Riker got beat up by the Street Profits, he got beat up by the Undisputed Era, he got a ladder thrown into his face by all 4 members of the Undisputed Era.
He got chucked off the stage at one point as well for a bit.
But he was still standing, like he was getting up.
Yeah.
It's like a Terminator, just could not be stopped, and it had to take another ladder shot to put him down and for them to set the ladder up. Though very interesting how strong they put over Jackson Riker at the end of this, of whether they are going to set him up for this almost a main event style picture for him.
Yeah, I also think we've said before when we've discussed this that I think Jackson Riker could really be a deciding factor in this ladder match as well, because kind of the rules are a bit all over the place because of it being 4 teams anyway.
Exactly.
So
well, you can do DQ one of them.
Yeah, exactly. I imagine he's going to wander in and cause some havoc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whether this was done to write him off so that he won't be at TakeOver 25.
Yes,
and they could say that Jackson Riker's too injured. Due to injuries he sustained at the hands of the Undisputed Era, he won't be at this show. Just as a way to kind of like write him out of that, because as you say, otherwise you'd be like, why isn't Riker just getting in the ring and beating everyone up?
Yeah, because I can see either way you kind of slice it here. I can see an Undisputed Era versus Forgotten Sons feud going forward from this match in general, because I feel like that kind of faction warfare is something they haven't really explored in NXT around the Undisputed Era properly yet. So that would be a really good way to do it as well. These people, 2 teams vying for control of the entire brand, basically.
Yeah, because they had a feud with Sanity.
Yes.
But like you say, that was sort of faction warfare, but it wasn't for the controlling state of NXT.
No, Sanity didn't really care. Sanity was just whatever.
All about the chaos.
Yeah.
Basically, my Eric Young. It's not very good. So I do think that Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick... Deary me, where am I?
Fish and O'Reilly.
I'm very tired today. Fish and O'Reilly could be the ones to walk out of NXT as the tag champs once again.
Yes.
3-time NXT tag team champions.
It doesn't feel like they've built anyone else in that same way beyond the... I think the Forgotten Sons are the most likely, if it's not...
I'd say they've kind of built Street
Era.
Profits, because they did have that visual pin-esque thing over the War Raiders on their way out, and they were really pushing them as they could have won that match.
Yeah.
So I think they have done something to kind of push them. But I really could see this being an Undisputed Era victory.
Yeah.
And it's interesting you say them going into a feud with the Forgotten Sons, because what's kind of interesting about that is they're both heels. Because Cole is 100% a heel act at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
And the Undisputed Era are being presented as the baddies.
Oh, yeah.
But the Forgotten Sons are also very much the baddies.
Yeah.
And I think putting the Forgotten Sons into a feud with the Undisputed Era are just going to get them over as baby faces. Because no one likes the Forgotten Sons, but everyone loves the Undisputed Era. They're one of those heel tag teams that everyone loves.
Yeah, they're the X. It's just it's that exact thing. It's just people, you can't boo them.
Yeah, it's like Kevin Owens. Yeah, absolutely. You cheer the heel. So I think it's quite an interesting. There's a lot of interesting things coming out of this week's episode to lead into NXT TakeOver 25, which is coming this Sunday. Which let's address this now. We're not going to be live streaming, I'm afraid to say. A few people have been asking. But yeah, we're not going to be live streaming NXT TakeOver this Saturday because...
Logistics,
basically, yeah. Me, Laurie, and Pete are away. We're at Games Expo in Birmingham. And Ollie is on a stag do or a bachelor party for our American viewers.
stag do
In Northern Ireland. I don't think housemate Hyman is available either. So it was just like...
I could have done it on my own.
It was going to be Randy on his own. So I think logistically we just couldn't make it work. And to be honest, I'm going to blame NXT on this one, or WWE in general. They booked this too late.
Yes, we were ready. We were ready for Money in the Bank.
Yeah, we already had
that weekend.
We already had our plans in place for going to Birmingham, going to the stag do and things like that. So unfortunately, we're not going to be live streaming it, which also means that the review won't be going up on the Sunday, which means there might not be a review at all. There might be a ramble review on the Monday, but we might not have like a 10-minute review for the show.
Maybe if we can get Wi-Fi and the premiere in, we can we can do a Facebook Live or something.
Well, I mean, I wish I could say that, but we are staying at a travel lodge.
Oh, right, okay, so travel lodge, yeah.
Probably, absolutely no chance.
We'd be lucky if we could even watch the thing.
I know. We did talk about possibly watching it like late at night while watching it live, but... yeah, I'm not sure the Wi-Fi is going to be good enough for the travel lodge. Well, we'll see what we can do. But Randy, Andy Dadson, what are people saying in the super chats?
People are saying the following. We're starting with Jobber JJ, as we often do. Says, Baszler, EO, Gargano and Cole haven't had a lot of TV matches. Any reason for this?
Well, apparently Gargano was working hurt.
Well, he still is, I think. He's
still
got a bad
hurt,
knee, which is why I've gone for Cole.
Well, they said that Gargano. Well, the Observer said last week that he was working with a niggling knee injury during this set of tapings, but he'll be fine by Takeover, so he'll be fighting fit come Saturday. EO, I don't know.
I would say.
But I think it's just like almost keeping people off TV to try and make you then want to watch the show and see them wrestle again.
Yeah, I think they've done the right thing with EO though, because it's like. It's that same thing of like there is a language barrier. You don't want to cut too many promos, but all the deployment of EO has been really good. This like she's turned after the Kairi Sane thing into this like avenging angel basically, and just appears out of nowhere wielding a kendo stick to beat down Baszler all the time. I think it's been a great build to that match. It's been good to sort of keep it like low key and let some of the other women's roster as well have TV time, because do you know what? Baszler has had all the TV time for ages now because she's been the champ for basically ever.
Yeah, and it's good to give people like Mia Yim and Bianca Belair some TV time instead. What we got next?
Chris Blank with a lovely message says, "You lads are all right."
Yes, though. Well, I mean, you're too kind, but we are basically.
Please don't.
We are basically fine.
My head can't take it.
Micah Williams says, "I have a whole year."
Oh, the Brock thing.
Lesnar, yes.
Yeah, the Brock Lesnar thing. I mean, yeah, depends on what you got a year to do, I guess. Yeah.
Keith Fry says, "NXT theme song remix. We are Nacho Cheese."
Well, great. That's all. It's like when someone told me that they hear Scottish Cycle Path for Drew McIntyre. That is all I hear now.
Unhear it,
I can't unhear that. So now We Are Nacho Cheese is all I'm going to hear now for poor old Slipknot.
Judas Black says, "I'm here, so let me in."
For the Firefly Funhouse.
I guess so.
Yeah. You can clearly tell they don't know what they're doing yet. They're just like,
Fiend.
can we just like try to extend this out for as long as possible?
We can just have him keep saying weird stuff.
Yeah, because we don't really know what we're going to do with it yet.
Yeah, I think they filmed all of that stuff in one day. I've said it before, and I think they've just got like a book studio time, and that is it.
That's it.
Michael Williams back in to say, "Where is housemate Simon Hyman?"
It's on Screen Grapple. He'll be on Screen Grapple again this coming... You
recorded today.
Do you want to give us a tease of what we can expect from this week's Screen Grapple?
It's a lot of John Moxley. And there's a bit of Drew McIntyre doesn't like Shane McMahon. We've also got Colt Cabana, most likely, phoning in.
Yeah. Boom, boom.
So not really an interview. More a random hot take from Colt Cabana.
Well, sometimes that's what you want.
Jobber JJ again says, "Have you watched the NXT behind the scenes special?"
No, absolutely not. No, sorry.
No.
I haven't watched the Performance Center combined thing either, which is apparently a thing they've also done on the network to show how impressive strong people are. I don't know. Someone did email in about it. Rachel emailed in to give us some stats about like the big deadlifting stuff that they do. Also, actually, I think the most interesting thing about this, I thought I'd bring this up now because that's the only one I can remember. Montez Ford has a 37-inch vertical leap.
That's ridiculous.
So to put that into perspective,
It's one of my penis.
Kobe Bryant's a basketball player, right? Like, he's an impressive
Yeah.
basketball player. He's got a 40-inch vertical leap.
Wow.
And the average NBA star vertical leap is 28 inches.
My lord.
So he's like, ginormous, so to speak.
Wow
So
TV, the Mayor of Painesville Dan says, really good show. Gulak should win gold this year.
But where? Like, I know if it's not on Raw or SmackDown or on NXT, it's not going to matter.
But even if, I don't know. It's just difficult for Gulak, isn't it? Because he's clearly so skilled, and like they've cottoned onto him on NXT. Thankfully, I think is the thing, because he was getting wasted on 205 after having the brilliant PowerPoint presentation stuff for a bit, and then having some really good matches where he was number one contender for a while, and then it's just all dropped off again after the Buddy Murphy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'd really like to see more of Drew Gulak.
But I think, like,
great.
to your point, NXT is pretty much the only place where Drew Gulak works. Because as soon as you put him up onto the main roster, you have him not doing the Drew Gulak match. And that's what Drew Gulak is good at.
Yes.
Drew Gulak is doing the matches that he did tonight with Kushida. Or I'd say last night with Kushida. But you can't do that match on Raw or SmackDown because that's not the wrestling that Vince likes. That's not the wrestling that Vince wants to present. Therefore, Drew just does the same match that everyone else is doing, and that's not a Drew Gulak match.
No.
And then he's no one. He's nothing special then.
Yeah, he's going to get 5 minutes when that match needs 10. Like,
Yeah.
and that will always be the case. It's
So
always going to be you get 5 minutes.
NXT is pretty much the only place where he works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He works in 205 as well, because I like the no-fly zone stuff worked well, because it's like it's just a good heel act on the flippy show to be like no flips.
Yeah, no, to your point there, I will correct myself. NXT is the only show that people watch.
The only one that matters where he works.
Yeah, that people care about. We were actually having a chat in the
You
office.
can stand in the
today.
dark room and be Drew Gulak, and it's not worth getting over.
Yeah, we were having this chat today in the office because it was brought to our attention that 205 Live has an unprecedented deep roster of 11 wrestlers.
Wow.
And we couldn't name them all.
Well, we could name 10.
We could
Whoa.
name 10 of them.
No, I was going to start with Cedric Alexander. That's not right.
The one we didn't get was Oni Lorcan.
Yeah, Oney Lorcan was the one we forgot.
Drew, Oni, Kanellis. I'm done.
And Maria doesn't count, we found out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was quite a few. Well, I don't know, just the one we didn't get.
About 11 people. What a roster.
Hangman AJ Wilson says, could Strong attack Breeze before the match and win the North America title?
So what? So he has his match with Matt Riddle and then has another match.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. No.
I think you want to. I kind of think you want to build to the clean sweep. I'm kind of coming round to the idea of Cole not winning. Also because they titled the match on the match card as well as Cole versus Gargano 2, and I feel like that might build to Cole versus Gargano 3, like they did with the Ciampa stuff. So maybe, I think Roddy's just going to either win or lose his match, and it's not going to knock on at all.
Yeah. I mean, it'll knock on in storylines, but not knock on for the
it's
rest
not
of
going to
the
knock
show.
on the rest of the show.
Yeah,
it's not going to be like he's going to just jump into the next match and do something.
Also, I think they're very much like behind this Tyler Breeze return. God, that promo package was wicked. Can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah.
Someone suggested saying in the chat that they have very many difficulties watching NXT on the network, as do I. So I don't know why that is.
Really?
It goes about 5 minutes and then skips back a minute, and then you watch that minute again and it skips back a minute. I've had that since
Is that
forever.
on your laptop or on your...
Yeah, but the thing is, Laurie uses my account, and he never has any issues with it.
I was going to say no. I mean, we all use the same account. I'm pretty sure, but I've never had any issues watching.
It's because I'm
NXT.
screen sharing and I'm winding you back 1 minute all the time.
Yeah, no, I've never had any issues with
Fair
it.
enough. Moyes Ali, thank you very much for your generous donation. Dustin Pylon says, I hope Breeze tries to one-up Dream's entrance.
Oh, that'd be great. Actually, I mean, that is going to be an entrance off. That is, as we joked last week,
Yeah.
it's a walk-off.
It really is, yeah.
It's very much an entrance off.
I hope he comes out with Ben Stiller.
Tomo says,
Tomo.
Luke Laurie, guess what? Hi.
Oh,
Hi.
hi.
He did say 10 seconds of silence, please, but
Can't have that much dead air.
no,
mate.
exactly. Angel Perez says, I can see Vince snatching up Jackson Riker ASAP.
I can see Vince clearly snatching up Jackson.
ASAP.
Yeah, they've got to hide him. Like when they had Lars and they were just trying to like
Shh, don't let him
Keeping
see.
him under a canopy.
We got to check Jackson Riker's past Twitter and bodybuilding forum.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I think Jackson will be fine in NXT for the time being. I don't think Vince is going to be snapping him up because although he's tall and he's big and he's strong and all that, I think I don't think Vince is in the market at the moment for any more people on the roster.
He was at TNA as well. So.
He was.
Yeah, I think that Vince is definitely throwing everything else at the wall first before he goes, another big dude.
That's exactly it. Yeah, we've probably got another 3 weeks before we have
we've
a
got
reset
we've got at
press.
least 3 more gimmicks that he's going to come up with. Like,
Yeah.
The wild card.
The wild card. Like, no, we'll do the wild card.
Wildcard plus.
Could be wild card plus. Yeah.
Michael Williams says, support AEW YouTube channel.
And ours.
Yes, and ours.
More, ours more.
That's more.
They need it less, I think.
Yeah, we need the bump.
Small Afro Games
Jaron Walker.
says nothing, but thank you very much for your generous donation,
Thank you,
Jared.
Jeremy.
Tomo says, me and Andy can stream TakeOver 25 together.
It's very difficult. You're in
Yeah.
a very different country.
You are in Australia.
Yeah.
Um,
And we ain't flying you over. That's
No.
That's not cheap.
Danny, your boy DeVito says,
Your
Vince
boy.
take control of NXT to compete with AEW.
Did you say Vince takes over NXT to compete with AEW? I have seen a few people on the Wrestling Observer boards who reckons they are going to go on Wednesday nights to compete against NXT.
You think?
It's the same audience, I suppose. You kind of compete with the same sort of fan base.
I think how many people actually watch NXT live?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's on the net. I never watch it live.
I've never watched it live. So,
No.
yeah.
So, yeah, I think even if they did go on Wednesday nights, people are just going to be like, well, I can watch in the morning. It's okay.
The player move is to go on Friday.
Yeah, oh man.
Go on Friday, get there first,
Yeah.
and then be like, dare you, SmackDown?
I dare you.
I dare you come over here
Come
on
on,
Friday.
Fox.
Yeah.
Antonio Koo from the Philippines says, Breeze wins this weekend. Thoughts? Who would you have as his first challenger?
I don't think Breeze is winning.
Maybe.
But challenger-wise, Kushida. Yeah.
Oh, Kushida would be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee's a good shout, yeah.
Yeah. Or
Just
if
kind of egos.
Dijakovic gets
Yeah.
rehab.
Yeah.
Him.
Tim Arndt says nothing, but thank you very much for your generous donation.
Thank you.
Judas Black is back in with a question that I guarantee neither of you will know the answer to because it's sports. Judas Black says, NBA finals start tonight. Who have you guys got?
Arsenal.
Michael Jordan.
Yep. Chicago Bulls.
Well, it is the
Scottie Pippen.
It's the Golden State Warriors against the Toronto Raptors.
I'm going Raptors then.
I'll go for Toronto because Canada.
Yeah, it is those. Yeah, I'm going for Toronto as well because Golden State have won it twice in a row, I believe.
So it's not their turn.
Yeah, it's not.
That's how it works in sports.
Yeah, I'm
isn't
pretty
it?
sure that's how.
Yeah.
It works. I mean, it's all a work, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
All
once,
right, Vince Russo.
yeah. I once used to joke with my friends that football was all a work. That's why it gets so dramatic. That's why there's so much drama towards the end of a season is because it's all a work. It's all.
Yeah,
it's a big
absolutely.
predetermined sport.
Yeah,
It's choreography.
There's not much point in asking sports questions. I guess you just want to ask me because I'm the only one who really. Ollie knows a tiny bit about football, and that's about it.
You say you know a tiny
I
bit
can talk
football.
about
He's been to-
sport climbing.
Yeah, you can talk about climbing.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
sport.
who have you got,
Sport.
who have you got for the next climbing championships?
Adam Ondra.
Oh, yeah, thought so.
He's great.
Baby. Jared Thomas says, I feel like there will be a split in I almost said the United Arab Emirates, the Undisputed Era.
Could be a split in
Agreed.
them as well. You
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh, I just
politics.
changed it to me. There you go.
Yeah. So there could be a split in the Undisputed
Yeah.
Era. I mean, that's what they've been sort of teasing now for
Yeah.
like the last few months, really. Certainly since the last takeover. So I think it's not out of the realms of possibility. Like, I think if you do go down the storyline that we've been talking about on this show, that you have Roddy and you have the tags win, but you don't, and then Cole fails, and Cole as the leader is the only one who doesn't win on the night. And you almost have then Roddy kind of like vying for the leadership position and kind of and create a rift in there.
Well, because you can then sell in this idea that Cole was always blaming Roddy for his failures. And it's like, no, it's just you, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think the other theory I was mulling over this morning was that maybe a split is coming, because if you were looking at the Undisputed Era and going, well, maybe we want them on the main roster, would Roddy want to stay in NXT because his wife's there?
Marina Shafir.
Like, you know, so that this could be why Roddy seems like the one that they're going to splinter off.
Yeah.
Maybe they just want to babyface Roddy again. Like,
Maybe.
You know.
I mean, I would say that if you are going to have this split in the Undisputed Era, just put them back together again. Like I know, like housemate Simon he said before we started recording today that he's done with the Undisputed Era. I think he's kind of bored of them now. But I think they're too good of a team to spend.
I think they're great. I think you can get mileage out of a feud, an internal feud that leads to them coming back together stronger.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that is a much more interesting dynamic because I love the idea of a tag match between them.
Yeah.
Especially if Fish and O'Reilly are the tag champs as well. Yeah.
Someone suggesting that none of us are wearing trousers.
I mean, I'm wearing jeans.
I've got trousers on.
Yeah. I don't.
No. Okay, fair enough.
Free and easy.
Who was next? It is Ryan B. Bad says, long-time Patreon, first-time super chatter. What happened to WrestleTalk general manager Grado?
He's got his own wrestling promotion now up in Scotland.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's doing shows up there.
Yeah, we had to fire him.
Yeah, family-friendly wrestling is what Grado's all about.
Oh, nice.
Which is why he's a good guy.
Yeah. Edinol says, hey, Ollie, that's not the real Luke Owen.
I mean, I've got my driver's license. Let me just quickly check.
Let me scan this for you.
Yeah, hold on.
What kind of wallet is that, Luke?
It's a Ridge wallet, Randy Andy Datson. Yeah, very good Ridge wallet.
Very serious.
It has to be serious, isn't it? You're not allowed to smile in the photos.
I don't know.
Yeah. I wanted my passport photo to be more like...
I want it to be goofy.
Wearing a goofy hat.
Yeah.
Grandpa
The
Simpson,
down.
local man shouts at clouds.
That's exactly it.
Steve Wynyard says, will Shayna ever lose and get demoted to the main roster?
Yeah, I think this Sunday. But I don't think she's getting up to the main roster, but I think she's...
No, I think she's going to go after SummerSlam.
Yeah,
which is why I originally did her, but changed her back. No, they did EO and then changed her back to Shayna because I thought... No, I've told her...
Because the rules are, Randy, is that once you press submit, you can't change it.
I mean, I had an email from Daniel Schachtmeyer, otherwise known as Mayor of Painesville Dan, who did the same.
Wow.
So.
I mean, usually... And you said,
just
no, you can't.
Rules.
Absolutely, you can't, Dan. That's not how it works.
Yeah, but he's nice.
No, he didn't.
Jerome Capo says, this is about to be one of the best takeovers ever.
It's a stacked card. Really, really good card this Saturday.
I feel like this is what we say about every takeover, though. It's like, it could be the best one ever. It's because it's the same lot of people going around in circles doing amazing stuff over and over again with good storytelling.
Yep.
The main roster could be this.
It could be.
It's like so easy to do, apparently.
It's not that hard, mate.
No.
Should we leave it there for now and come back later?
How many more have we got?
5, but I don't want to have none later, that's all.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll save them then.
Yeah.
Good job. Good work, Randy. The show kicked off with Mia Yim versus Bianca Belair. This is a feud that's sort of been bubbling over now for the last few weeks. And I really enjoyed this because this is a undercard feud. Not an undercard feud, but it is a feud that has been TV only, doesn't have to build to a takeover match.
Yep.
But it's been filling up TV time. It's been giving them time to get their characters over. It's been time for them to shine in the ring.
Yep.
And they've been telling a really good story in the meantime. I think this is really, really good stuff.
I was struggling with this match, though, this morning. I was a little bored by it, and I felt it was a little bit sloppy and a little bit like it lacked impact.
Yeah.
And I felt like the last one they had was much more of what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
This sort of run back felt like a bit. It felt very similar, like in the sense that they were just sort of going like, "Oh, we have to do this again."
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of notes.
Good finish.
Yeah, good finish.
Great finish.
I will say, to my when I said that I like it because it's a feud that's not for a title, it's not for anything like that, it's not even for a number one contendership. Excuse me, it's just to get kind of characters over and things like that. That's all good. But as you say, the match was fine.
The match was okay, yeah.
It was fine. Like if you'd have seen it on Raw, you'd have forgotten about it, and if it's on NXT, you forget about it even quicker.
Yeah,
I've made like almost virtually no notes. It's very much just like Yim dominates, Belair makes a comeback. Like so
Yim dominates, Belair makes a big comeback. Belair dominates for a bit. When Yim fires back, she hits Eat Defeat. Belair rolls out of the ring and goes to just walk to the back. Yim won't take the count out victory, so goes out to meet her, gets posted into the apron, knocked down. Belair rolls into the ring, perfectly willing to take a count out victory. Yim rolls back in, and then
she hits her finish.
She hits the
protect your neck.
Protect your neck.
Wu-Tang reference.
But holding on to the hair.
She
gets up into a powerbomb.
Yeah, so Belair had her up into a powerbomb, but she got out of it and grabbed the hair to hit protect your neck.
Pulls her in and bam.
To get the win. So Mia Yim wins. They're now one apiece.
50-50
booking. Indeed. And it's kind of like, you think this is now going to build to a rubber match between the two of them. So I think there could be something out of this. But you're right. This wasn't a particularly great match.
I think this is entirely to set up whoever's next for the NXT Women's Championship, I think, post takeover.
See, I think it's more for me.
Just
I think
keeping
it's
things
more,
on the broil.
That's what I mean. I think it's more spinning plates.
Yeah.
Or keeping the plates spinning, because I think Candice LeRae is going to be in that picture.
Oh, you do?
Before we get to
Which has been shoehorned a little bit into that,
exactly,
I guess,
yeah. So, but I think what it is it's keeping those plates spinning. It's keeping them on TV. It's keeping them relevant. It's keeping the crowd interested in them, and giving them something to do. We then got I would argue, the best thing on the show, which was a hype package for the Velveteen Dream and Tyler Breeze.
I love Velveteen Dream's hype packages.
This
so good.
was awesome. This was so good. This is one of those video packages where I'm not taking any notes while I'm watching it, because I'm just so transfixed by it that I then have to stop. I have to pause it and be like, okay, right, what did I just see? And I have to write it down so I remember it when I get back. And it's Velveteen Dream with a selfie stick. And he sets up a selfie stick to record a camera. He's recording cameras. He's to get a phone and use its camera ability to record himself. And he talks about when Dream got called up, it was the last time he got a standing ovation.
Yeah.
And they show that clip from Stomping Ground when Tyler was announced he was going up to the main roster. And then they show clips of Tyler Breeze going up to the main roster and how, hey, you were going to make an instant impact. You got into that feud with Dolph Ziggler, and then instantly you were forgotten about. They even use Tyler Breeze being on main event as a way to bury, bury the main roster.
They find all the goofy clips as well,
Yep.
and stuff was chucked on him, or he was doing something silly.
They just told this great story of you went up, you had all of this potential, you had the spotlight, but you couldn't hack it in that spotlight. And all of a sudden, you were falling down. You were then on main event, you big loser. And then you were with Breeze. What a dweeb. And then you were with Breezango, and you were just doing comedy, goofy stuff where you had, you were burnt because they did, that sunbed thing. I can't remember what it was now, but it was, really... It was when they were still heels. And it was meant to be a way to sort of embarrass them. And... then you you couldn't hack it on the main roster. You couldn't hack the main roster spotlight. So you've had to crawl back to NXT to try and steal my spotlight. And I'm not going to let that happen.
No.
I thought Dream was marvelous here.
It's wicked, and he calls him the great value version.
Yes. So thankfully, Kenny Jones got in touch with us to say during the Breeze Dream hype package, Dream said you're nothing but a great value version of the Dream. Here in America, we have Walmart, and Great Value is their store brand name. So it's basically like Tesco's Finest.
Sainsbury's Basics.
Sainsbury's Basics, Tesco's Own, it's the
Yeah.
Asda one, Asda Smart Price.
As the smart
Because
price.
Tesco's Finest
Waitrose
is the good
essential.
stuff.
Yeah, it's not Tesco Finest.
Tesco Value.
Dream
Value,
would be the Tesco Finest.
That's right,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, but he's not the finest.
No, that's
It's not
the
Kona Reeves.
Tesco Finest, Kona Reeves. The Dream is the Kona Reeves.
That's right, yeah. So it's Sainsbury's
Breeze
Basic.
it's confusing.
Which I thought was a really nice line. It's you're a discount version of the Velveteen Dream. But you've also got Tyler Breeze in there as well, because this whole promo is built around I remember Tyler Breeze. Oh yeah, now you mention it, I remember Tyler Breeze. He was that guy that did all this. And you have Tyler Breeze going I remember that Tyler Breeze. That Tyler Breeze was kicking ass in NXT. That Tyler Breeze was having matches with Jushin Thunder Liger. That Tyler Breeze was doing all this amazing stuff before you even got here. This is my NXT. He calls himself a staple of NXT.
Yeah.
I thought both guys were awesome in this promo package. And it genuinely, for a match that's had 2 weeks worth of build, I'm probably more excited about this match than any other match on the card.
It was such a smart pick to choose Breeze.
Yeah.
When you're in need of a desperate replacement, and all the guys who've gone up to the main roster, Breeze has probably had one of the worst times out of anyone in NXT, but still managed, even through all the rubbish they've made him do, managed to retain being a fun performer. He's over people, in the sense that people know who he is and are actually, you know what, Fashion Files, really funny. All that kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that he's managed to do despite what they keep giving him.
Yeah.
That makes him really impressive. And I think it's such a good choice to just go, if we just bring him back to NXT, he's such a perfect counterpoint to Velveteen Dream. And they've obviously looked at it and analysed the story stuff that you can get out of it and picked the perfect line for the story.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the sort of story that the NXT audience, which is a more hardcore-based wrestling audience, can get invested in, because we're all sitting here going Tyler Breeze was completely mishandled on the main roster, was completely botched, and they've managed to use that. They don't use the term, they botched you on the main roster. They've turned into a character part of him.
Yeah.
Is that he went up to the main roster, couldn't get over, and
No.
now he's come back to NXT. And that's the way that Dream has spun this story.
Yeah, it's a very good choice of blurring the sort of shoot and
That's
kayfabe
it, yeah.
lines of this and just going, well, like, you know, in kayfabe, Tyler Breeze coming back to NXT is like he's like walking in. I'm an A-lister now because I'm on this show, and here I am back in NXT. And Dream's like, no, that's not. We know that that's not true.
That's not true.
This is the other side of the business that we're talking about now.
Yeah.
It's really clever.
And
I
that
really like it.
that ties into a lot of Dream's entrance type stuff with the call me up Vince and things like that, where he has always been kind of blurring that line between kayfabe and shoot and things like that. You know, he's all over that on Twitter as well. Very, very clever at doing that. I thought this was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, it's really
loved it. I'm stoked for the match this weekend. We then got a recap of Baszler beating down Candice LeRae last week and being saved by Io Shirai and her kendo stick of complete death.
My God, she was a whirlwind of wood.
Absolutely, she was. She went in there with 0 Fs to give and a kendo stick in hand.
My Lord.
And just like, wait, there's a moment, it's funny to rewatch it again, because Marina Shafir gets hit like right in the ribs with it, and she goes down like a sack of spuds, being like, oh God, oh God. And then she stands.
Shouldn't have asked her to lay them in.
And then she stands up again and be like, all right, okay, it's time to get my second shot. She gets hit even harder the second time. Just falls down and collapses. Oh, I felt so bad for them.
Hey, like, if you're going to hit anyone, hit the people who've done MMA, I guess.
Absolutely,
Like,
yeah. The guys, as you said that on last week's show, the people would have said, lay it in.
Yeah.
Like,
have to.
Like Ronda Rousey was doing on the main roster.
Yeah.
You've got to make this look as real as possible, so do not swing for the fences.
Yeah, like
Which is a basketball
comparative to
analogy.
Bailey with a kendo stick.
Yeah. Donk. It was really cool.
She
And
refused
then
to use it.
Baszler's then doing a photo shoot. This is NXT's new thing, which is we're going to do interviews while they're doing photo shoots.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just standing there having their photos taken. Do we ever get to see these photos? We
No,
ever get to see
no,
where this
they
photo
go
shoot
nowhere.
goes? Because it's basically standing there with, like, you know, her mean girls behind her going like, we're so big and tough.
Muscly.
And then she walks off and there's a camera guy there and it's like, Baszler, can I get a quick interview with you? Baszler says, essentially, at TakeOver, Io's not going to have a kendo stick. It's not in the rules.
Mm-hmm.
But also, she's not going to have friends. But I've got friends. And those friends are going to be with me.
Friends aren't in the rules either.
Oh, but Baszler knows how to work those rules. Because there's two of them. One to distract the referee, who's they're going to go, Doy, you're distracting me.
Yeah.
And the other one's doing nefarious things.
Well, what if Io Shirai comes out with 2 kendo sticks dressed as friends?
Well, like Monica and Phoebe. As
like
those are
Wilson
friends.
from Castaway.
Yeah. Well, she is going to have a friend, but we'll get onto that in a little bit. Next up, we had Kushida versus Drew Gulak, a match that was set up a couple of weeks ago when Kushida was having his match against Tesco's finest, Kona Reeves, and Drew came out to have a little watcheroo.
A shifty.
This was technical wrestling.
Yeah. Technical.
Wrestling is what this was. It was just a lot of technical wrestling, a lot of stretching, a lot of submission-based stuff. Really, really interesting. Sadly, I would say this was clearly done at the end of a taping cycle. Crowd have seen Kushida wrestle 3 times by this point. It wasn't the match to get that crowd kind of like pumped back up again. This is very much like, this is literally the last hour we're doing taping for, and the crowd were very noticeably not quite tired because they've been there for like 3 hours by this point, seeing a lot of the same people, and it is harder to get a reaction the third time you come out. And I think the crowd were noticeably quiet for this. Unfortunately, this wasn't the match to kind of like wake them back up.
No, this is very much a sort of like it's like a tennis match. It's that kind of like something happens and then there's a ripple of applause, and then it goes back to complete quiet.
Complete quiet again.
Yeah, and it's not the
raw.
it's not the raucous kind of normal wrestling vibe you get of chants and all that kind of stuff.
Whereas I think if this had become like earlier on in the taping cycle, this would have I think this would have gotten over much bigger with the crowd.
Yes,
but like you're right,
absolutely.
like it's very, very tennis-like in the sense of people just watching the moves, watching the counters and the reversals, and then applauding.
That's what I always
say.
find like Zack Sabre Jr. matches is like. It's a very impressive thing to watch, but it's very hard to. It's a different thing. Like I think wrestling, generally speaking, feels like football. Yeah. In the sort of sense of the way people engage with it, which is shouting at it and chanting, and then Zack Sabre Jr. matches, while he comes out like a footballer, are actually just tennis matches.
But it was really good. Really, really good. A lot of reversal-based stuff. I was really, really enjoying
There was some
this.
super smart stuff in here. Like there was like the face buster thing that Kushida did, where he lands in a way that he traps the arm.
Yeah,
and, like,
that was really
twists into-
smart.
It's
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, and like getting him to the triangle and yeah, as you say, the armbar and things like that. Very, very good. But crucially for me, it's a different sort of match. One of the kind of things I like about NXT. It's one of the things I'm excited for about AEW. One of the things my main criticism I have about the main roster. Every match on the main roster is the same match.
Yeah,
like
especially when you let people do 5 moves.
Exactly, it's a template match. It's basically like our podcast. Like when I edit our podcast, I have a template that is set up, and I just edit around that template because it's the quickest way for me to edit the show.
Yes.
And that's what main roster stuff is. There's a template match, and everyone just follows that template. Whereas here, there's no template you need to follow. It's just like go out and have your submission-based stretching out match.
Yeah.
And it's going to be completely different to Mia Yim versus Bianca Belair. It's going to be completely different to this tag main event. Variety is the spice of life.
And it's going to be completely different to what Kushida did with Kona Reeves.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of technical moves in that match, but it was also a higher paced version of Kushida. So it's like it's showing basically we're getting the range of Kushida presented to us. It's like he can do stretching, he can do like really quick running around stuff.
He can also turn off the lights by tapping his wrist string. Love it.
Perfect.
Love that entrance.
He's got an Apple Watch. That's all he's got.
Love
Siri,
Kushida.
turn off the lights.
Big fan of Kushida. As we were sort of saying during the super chat portion of this as well, I hope Drew Gulak sticks around in NXT.
Yeah.
I think he's better served in NXT than he is on
just
205
the
Live.
open door policy. That's what I want.
Kathy
Wildcards for those smaller brands.
Kathy Kelly was backstage. Didn't they say as well that the wild card? Oh no, it was the 24/7 rule applied that you could like all NXT or NXT UK guys could go for it as well. But
You can go to the barbecue if you want to. Like,
yeah, seen none of that. So
Dave
far.
Mastiff's just going to turn up and go, I want it now, and then that's it.
Flawless. Dave Mastiff didn't just walk into the studio.
that was Andy.
That was a flawless.
there.
Kathy Kelly was backstage with Io Shirai. Io says she doesn't need friends or a kendo stick. She's just going to beat up Shayna Baszler this weekend. But then she does get an friend as Candice LeRae walks up to her and says that she's going to be in Io's corner this coming weekend. Nice. I like to see Candice in this as well because Candice has been underserved on NXT since she's come in. So it's nice to see her get inserted into a storyline that isn't Gargano-based.
You shouldn't have married Johnny Gargano. It's been bad for your wrestling.
Oh, bless her.
I think that's the thing. Is like she has just been side piece to that whole thing.
She is Mrs. Gargano.
Yeah.
That's and that is unfortunate, really. That I think, but this now she's away from Gargano. She's doing her own storyline, and that's good.
Yes,
that's very good. We then got a hype package for Gargano as NXT champion, which then transitions, which is why I tripped over my words, into Gargano versus Cole. And you've got Cole saying like, "I keep thinking about New York." Now, if this was any other NXT match, I'd be NXT champion because I won. I beat him first.
Yeah.
You got Gargano reminding him, and I think that's a nice little twist on this of the 2 out of 3 falls match being like, dude, I won.
Yeah.
Like I scored the first win. Any other match, I'd be champ.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I think it's a nice bit of character beat for him.
It is. Yeah, it's perfect Cole thinking. Is what it is,
That's exactly it. Yeah, and he says that he thinks about New York and it makes him sick to his stomach because he should be champion at this point.
I love Adam Cole. He's so good.
Really, really good video package. Good hype for, and like I think that
I loved all the interviews with all the people from Cleveland and stuff at the beginning of it. It was such a it was so well put together. Of like, this is Johnny's sort of coming of age moment within NXT, and like
and it's things like, as you say, the way that they're framing Johnny as like the champion of the people, going back to his hometown of Cleveland, Cleveland, to quote Scott Howard the Duck, and going back there, which is why I think they're not going to take the title off of him anytime soon, because I think they are sort of presenting him as the people's champ at the moment, and it's too soon to be taking the belt off of him, because you can do more of this kind of stuff. So I think that we could probably see Gargano.
He's a great figurehead for NXT, and especially if you want to grow NXT as a brand globally, like having this super over babyface
and a great story to tell.
Yeah,
of like he wasn't supposed to be here today. He wasn't supposed to be with NXT. He was only called in for a one-shot deal.
Yeah,
but he worked, he grafted, and now he's on top of the game. Like I think it's a really interesting story to tell as your champion.
The transformative power of wrestling.
Exactly. So that was this week's NXT. What did you think?
I thought it was very good. I think it did enough to make me excited for the weekend. And I think I was discussing this earlier actually with housemate Simon on the housemate Simon trip into work, in which like almost not as excited for TakeOver this time as I was for the last few. And I think, one, because it's not on a sort of big weekend of like WWE stuff. So it's not like we're going to get this and then we're going to get that. And there's all of this build to one culmination wrestling weekend. But also just because I feel like we're not even 2 months from the last takeover.
Yeah.
And normally we've just got a little bit of extra time to be like, get keen, like really be invested.
Yeah.
So I just feel like this episode finally sort of tipped me over the edge to be like, okay, I am excited now.
Yeah.
I am finally on board with the takeover thing. Because before that, I was nonplussed, really.
I think I'm really looking forward to I think the card is stacked. Like it's a really, as a 5-match lineup, it is absolutely like incredible. That 4-way tag match with the ladder is going to be absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It's going to be really, really good. And I also think that there are not reservations, but are sort of like the reason why we weren't on the Gargano versus Cole from TakeOver was match of the year, and we were more on the Walter versus Dunn was the best match of the night, which I still stand by. I really do think.
I really do think so.
Is what the 2 out of 3 falls stipulation kind of held it back.
Yes.
Because I don't think they really played with that. During the match, I don't think they played with it enough. They played with it very well since with Cole using the I should be champion because I scored the first fall. But I don't think it worked for that match at that time.
No.
Here now, it's just a 1-4 match. I think this one is going to be better. I think I'm going to enjoy this one more than I enjoyed the TakeOver match.
Yeah, and I think I'll caveat my earlier point as well by saying that like the other problem is that a lot of the card has been subject to change because of injuries and just general changes to the entire roster being pillaged by the main roster. So, like, it was kind of hard to get excited for this takeover because so much of it was just like up in the air until the last 2 weeks, and it's only really all come together and convalesced into this like one thing.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. Yeah.
Whereas before, like you always kind of get the sense of where the story's going and who's going to be in that picture.
Yeah.
Going into a takeover quite a while in advance, usually. So
interesting as well. Was it Mike Johnson? Who was reporting that apparently one of the plans for this, because one of the reasons this was announced so late is they didn't have a location for it. So it was like between like 3 places. Yeah. It was like Connecticut is where it's going to be. Then there was a couple of other places they were thinking of doing it. One of them was Saudi Arabia.
Oh God!
And they were going to do it before Super Showdown. So it was going to be like the NXT, like they would do for WrestleMania. It'd be like NXT TakeOver Saudi Arabia or NXT TakeOver Jeddah or whatever it is.
Wow.
But
to go from the normal like hype it into the takeover crowd to the Saudi Arabia crowd, which is 90% people on their phones.
Yeah.
My Lord.
It would have been a very, very different experience. But I did say to Randy, I was like, well, that is one way to get the fans on your side, isn't it, to do these Saudi Arabia shows. Just like, we hate you for doing these shows. But NXT, oh, well. I do want to see Gargano versus Cole.
Yeah,
so
I don't know if that
will
would,
watch
I
it.
think that would make people crosser. I just think that's more fuel on the fire.
On paper, it seems like a really smart idea. But I'm much prefer...
That's putting out a fire with petrol, is what I think.
I'm glad that it's TakeOver 25 in Connecticut.
Yes.
So, on its own, and this is like it's on its own. It's not attached to a show. It's not attached to a main roster show. So it's a very interesting to see that we are getting this takeover. It's annoying that it's happening on a weekend that we've all got things booked for.
Yeah.
Damn it, WWE.
But this is also part of like it being on its own weekend is kind of finally putting sort of paid to what Triple H was saying when he was like NXT is the third brand of WWE. It's not the under brand. It is the third one.
Yeah, poor old 205 Live. Never gets remembered, does it? What is that? The 5th brand? Is it below NXT UK?
It's barely a brand, isn't
I think
it?
actually it is below NXT UK because NXT UK does better viewership-wise on the network. Yeah. So maybe that's the 5th brand.
They could change Jackson Riker's name to Jeddah Riyadh just for the show.
JR? Yeah, absolutely, yeah. We've got some super chats, Randy.
We have got plenty, starting with Connor Barth, who says, Adam Cole hopefully picks up the win this weekend. Sorry, guys, a little late to the party. That's okay, Connor. You can join us whenever you like.
Absolutely okay. Yeah, join us whenever you like. For me, I don't think it's a Cole win. I think I'm more set in my ways now.
Yeah.
I'm set in my ways. I'm more set in my mental ways.
You're on the Johnny Gargano
I'm on Gargano train here. Yeah, no, I think so.
I feel like it could go either way.
Micah Williams says, when y'all streamed AEW at the beginning, I said John Moxley all the way. I knew the future. Yeah, because you were the only one, Micah.
Yeah,
I think everyone said John Moxley, didn't they?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it was our bonus question for the predictions was like, will John Moxley be at the show? Because I think, and everyone said yes because we all sort of figured that he would be at the show.
I feel like the date was in the video, so
Yeah, he kind of like dropped some hints for it, but
Yeah.
I think that they were looking to make a big splash with that first show, and to do that, I mean, that's the thing that most people are talking about coming out of it. So
Yeah.
I think it was a really smart play for them to have that debut. What a great podcast he did with Jericho as well.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, really, really good stuff.
Here's one you'll definitely agree with, Luke. Start Recording says, non-WWE, but Godzilla made me tear up from epicness.
Oh, really? I thought it was fine. It's below fine. I liked watching.
Sub fine.
It was sub fine.
It
Like
was fine. Below fine. I hated it. It was the worst film I've
we
ever
go that
seen.
far?
It was an abomination.
I liked it more than Aladdin. But it was a case of like I liked watching the monsters because I'm a fan of Godzilla. Like I've grown up watching these movies, so to watch it with like 2019 special effects and things like that was kind of like mind blowing to me. But at the same time, it was pretty pants.
There's no plot.
And it was also murky as hell. Hated the color scheme of it. It was just brown, grey, and brown.
Like the Game of Thrones series 8 episode
3, The Long Night.
Yeah, it was brown.
Yes.
Too much brown.
Judas Black, thankfully not with another basketball question, says Dean Ambrose confirmed for Super Arabia.
It could be wildcard, mate.
Vince Russo
It's
thinks
all, it's all a work.
Yeah, it is. They're all in
Russo
bed
tells you.
together.
It's a work, brother.
Ratnesh Singh Bagri says, do you guys watch cricket? No, I do, yes. I'm a very big fan of cricket.
No, I once I played cricket at school once because I was made to do PE. And we once had to play cricket, and what a boring game that is. I'm
Slow.
I was very good at sports at school because I was very good at avoiding everything. Like I was trying to find the places where you could stand as far away from action so it never really comes towards
So
you.
see you doing that
I
as
was
well.
very, very good at this. But my teacher did catch me on one occasion when we were playing cricket, and he made me move forward. The first thing that happened is I got hit in the chest with a cricket ball because
gotta look.
the lad hit it, and I just stood there because I was
Because
like,
you'd had no practice.
I had no practice.
Yeah.
And so I just stood there and just went bounce, and it just hit me in the chest like a proper poof, like smack in the chest. And,
Oh.
the best bit
and,
about
then
cricket.
what did the teacher say? Pick it up. It's like just got hit with the ball, mate.
Someone fired a cannon at me.
Oh no, I just want to play and watch my movies, play my video games, and listen to my music.
Don't want to do sports. I'm not a sports kid.
Great, cricket is amazing. And
Cricket is
being
major boring.
by the-
Andy always plays as the stumps.
getting
from what I've
hit by
seen.
the cricket ball is one of the joys. Micah Williams says, "Where's the beer?
Said the dominatrix to the sub. What? Sorry?
Where's the beer?
Which beer?
The beer 52."
Oh, we're not sponsored by them at the moment, although there is a crate down there. A crate that I brought from home because we used it for the Money in the Bank.
Did we
live
drink
stream.
all of that?
Oh, there was one can left.
Oh.
Yeah. Heavy night, mate.
I missed one. Damn.
We can use it.
Thought I got them all.
But Luke, maybe we could use it for tomorrow. What are we recording tomorrow?
That's right, we are. We only talked about this on the podcast. So, yes, we are going to be doing Ramble Club tomorrow for our Patreon pledge hammers over on Patreon.
Where they are.
Yep.
Where they live.
At the $10 level, you get Ramble Club, which is usually me, Ollie, and Laurie having a few drinks and talking about questions. Any questions. It's very rarely wrestling related. It's just us chatting nonsense for an hour and a half. But Ollie is doing business today, so he can't record it. And also, he's off to Northern Ireland tomorrow for a stag do.
Northern Ireland.
Or a bachelor party for our American viewers, as we mentioned earlier. So we're going to change up a little bit, and it's going to be me, Laurie, housemate Simon, Chopper Pete, and Randy just sitting around having a chat for an hour and a half, having a few beers, answering questions from our Patreon pledge hammer. So do get involved. Patreon.com/WrestleTalk at the $10 level, and you'll get that episode tomorrow.
Wonderful stuff. Good setup as well. Job at JJ says, "What is your favourite takeover of all time?"
Great
Thing is, I
question.
forget what they are.
Yeah,
I
no,
just remember. I remember the matches, and I don't remember the show.
That's it. I think because there are certain. I would have said previously Chicago 1. Because I loved that Pete Dunne Tyler Bate match.
That's what
that's so good.
And the tag ladder match as well. But I've recently rewatched it for Patreon, because if you donate at the $10 level, you also get the $5 backer, where we also get Rest Ramble Extra, where we just reviewed that show. That show also has a fine match between Roderick Strong and Eric Young, and a fine women's three-way between Asuka, Ruby Riott, and Nikki Cross. So it's not like a incredible show.
No.
But it has got an outstanding match between Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, and a really great ladder match between DIY and AOP, which has then got the DIY split angle at the end.
Which is the Toronto one with the DIY 2 out of 3.
That was the first Toronto.
Yeah.
And that's really good as well. Like, that Revival DIY match is insanely good. But like the Asuka Mickey James match is fine.
Yeah.
Like it's not great.
Yeah.
So I think there's sometimes with NXT shows, I would need to go back and look at every card to find out which one's got the most incredible matches on it, like the ratio of incredible to that is really good, but it's not as good as like the best matches on the card.
There's normally like one weaker match or like one or two weaker match on every takeover, and so it's like it's those matches that tip the balance. I think
you had it last year when I was away in Canada when you did the takeover review, which was the EC3 match. It was the EC3 Velveteen Dream.
Oh yeah,
which again it was an amazing card. Like that had Adam Cole Ricochet on it, and like amazing.
That was
matches
the moonsault where he kicks him in the head.
That had amazing matches. But then you've got that EC3 Velveteen Dream match in there. It's a bit of a clunker.
Yeah.
So, I'd have to go back and look at all the
Which
cards.
is kind of the proto version of what we're getting now with Tyler Breeze. It's that same ego versus ego kind of thing. And it didn't really pay off because I don't think EC3 is very good.
You've seen that they're now reporting that W gave up on EC3 after his feud with Dean Ambrose. They just decided that's it. No,
that was again. And that was what we sort of figured at the time, really, is because he came, like, they brought him up to the main roster, didn't know what to do with him. And then
they didn't know what to do with anyone they brought up at that series of lame call-ups.
On their way to WWE. And he had that match
Coming
with Dean
soon.
Ambrose when Dean Ambrose said he was leaving, which he won. And everyone was like, oh, man. Well, I mean, Dean Ambrose is obviously doing a lot of jobs, but then what happened, according to Ambrose as well, Moxley, I should say at this point, according to Moxley on the Jericho podcast, is that they were then having a series of house show matches. Like they were just on the house show loop working together. Moxley's supposed to be the heel, so he's doing everything he can to get booed. But because the news has broken that he's leaving WWE and he's sort of being treated as this hero, he's getting the babyface reaction and EC3 is getting booed.
Yeah.
So you get to Raw, Dean Ambrose beats EC3, and then he just becomes a babyface. Yeah. EC3's done nothing since. And apparently that was when they gave up on him. It's like, well, EC3 couldn't get over.
Well, Meltzer
because you did the wrong thing with him.
Yeah, so apparently it was just like, because Dean Ambrose got over as a babyface, that's why EC3.
That's EC3's fault.
That's EC3's
for being
fault.
told to work babyface.
It's EC3's fault.
Against Dean Ambrose.
Exactly, and they tried they tried to manage the thing with him because I reckon he probably said, "Give me Drake Maverick as a manager, and we can make this work."
Yeah,
and he had a match with Luke Harper on the Dark match before SmackDown after Mania, and apparently the story is Vince hated it. Vince absolutely hated it, and he doesn't like managers. And
he doesn't like Luke Harper, though.
Well, that was it. Apparently, it was Luke Harper's fault in that case. But that's why neither of them are getting used.
Vince is insane.
That podcast is like
watching
it's everything that we all knew.
Do stuff.
That's what I found most interesting about it. Like that's actually going to be the topic for the Saturday Ramble. Is Dean Ambrose or is John Moxley right about WWE? But I felt that everything that was said on that podcast was everything we already knew because that's all the stuff that's been reported for the last few years. It's what Meltzer's been saying for ages. What PW Insider have been saying. It's what Pro Wrestling Talk. It's what Fightful have been saying. WrestleTalk. Everyone's been saying this is what's going on. But a lot of people are like, well, they're not there. They don't know. Yeah. Bruce Pritchard says it's fine. He works there. He would know.
Yeah.
And then Moxley comes out and be like, no, it's exactly what you think.
Yeah.
It's exactly as you would imagine it would be.
WrestleVotes just tweeted to say, I spoke to a few guys this week. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly. And it is very much a case of everyone thinks the same thing.
I'm scared to talk to the boss in case he goes, you're going to get a jab.
My favourite part of that was, like, don't go into him with a noun because he'll turn a noun into a prop.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Start recording, doing a bit of auditioning for Sherlock Holmes here. Takeovers always have 5 matches, I've noticed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
Robert Caruso says...
You got this, man.
It's because they've got 4 belts.
Okay. Money for my fellow follically challenged bros. None for Andy because I have.
No money for Andy.
Yeah. No money for Andy. Although
that's a policy we work on here.
You're starting to lose it, though, aren't you, brother?
I don't know. Like,
Join
maybe.
the club.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's fine, mate. It's honestly, it's not that noticeable. So you're all right.
Bite the bullet and shave it off, mate. Just bite the bullet.
I have a very big head.
Yeah, I know, but dude, I had the same thing, man. Like when my barber said to me 2 years ago, "You got about 2 years left," I was like, "Well, I'm just gonna ride it out for these 2 years."
Or?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and then he slit my throat, and then I've got
His
2
name
years
was
left.
Sweeney Todd.
I've got 2 years left, and then I got to those 2 years, and that was when I thought, it's time for this to go now.
Yeah.
I think I've fought this long and hard, but it's starting to look ridiculous.
I just have quite a light bulb-shaped head. I don't know if you can see. Oh, it's not on the thingy, but I've got the.
Yeah,
that line.
Got the Emed going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Emed.
Anyway.
I've got Emed.
That was where I was. At university, I had the Emed. I still had long hair at that point. I did think I might just write it out and I'd just look like Hulk Hogan. I'd just have it all.
Oh, yeah.
With like my fine doll's hair.
Oh.
Around the back.
Start wearing bandanas.
Danny, your boy DeVito says super chatting is easier than Patreon. Change my mind. You don't get as many perks.
Yeah, you don't get as many perks. Yeah.
You just get me,
Patreon's
you just get
way
me
better.
reading. Yeah. Yeah, Danny. Kratos' Forgotten Son says, hello again, my friends. No
Speaking of
question for
Patreon.
today, but sorry?
So speaking of Patreon.
Yes. No question for today, but I like saying thank you for all the hard work you guys do. Support WrestleTalk and Screen Stalker.
Thank you
so much,
so
Kratos.
much.
Thank you. And yes, support Screenstalker.
I've done 2 videos with Screenstalker this week, and it has been wonderful.
It's nice not talking about wrestling sometimes.
Do you know what? It really, like, I was on the tube the other day.
Especially when the wrestling has been like, you've had the highs of AEW and then WWE's 2 days worth of responses, which were it was like AEW was like, boom, 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 shots fired. And WWE went, it was like your opening to this.
That was basically the noise they made. But I genuinely, the last couple of days, just writing about Godzilla have been exhilarating. It's been wonderful. I've had a whale of a time. And I didn't have to watch SmackDown. It was grand.
Let's have a look. Next one is Start Recording Again says, would you rather... See, I think would you rather questions should be more frequent now because they're great. We do them tomorrow in the Ramble Club. Would you rather only talk with Michael Cole catchphrases for a week or wear a Divas Championship shirt for a week?
Divas Championship shirt, like it's only a t-shirt.
Yeah, it's only a t-shirt.
Yeah.
You can wear it inside out.
Yeah.
Only the t-shirt, nothing else.
But even then, like, it's just a t-shirt. What, with a belt on it? Ooh, embarrassing. Like,
I mean, nothing else.
even then, it's still just a t-shirt.
Wear a large one.
Tomo
I
says...
don't need that much to cover. Like,
I do. 37 inches.
37, yeah. Is Kushida still the best? Like I said a few weeks ago, love you guys, hug, even Pete hugs Pete.
yeah, no, Kushida's awesome.
He's great. He's really, good.
really
Yeah.
awesome.
Versatile.
Yeah, once shared an elevator with him. Was terrified.
I once shared an elevator with the Fijian national rugby team, and I've never felt so small in my life. Hangman AJ Wilson
How big was
says...
his elevator?
Was
Was it a freight elevator?
No, it was at a... I was...
What a mad.
Suddenly I realised, like, it's probably about 20 people in this
There's how
elevator.
many
It's
people in this
pretty
team?
sure he's got
Feel
weight
like
limits.
15 dudes?
3 people. I was...
That's not what you said.
I
mate.
was at
That's
university.
not a team.
I was at university in Cardiff, and they were...
They don't do rugby trios.
They were staying at the hotel where my gym was.
So really, the story is I was in an elevator
So
with
Andy,
3 people.
I'm the only one who knows anything about sports. Doesn't know how many people are in a rugby team.
How many people are on a rugby team?
7.
It is
not
12.
It's 15.
I said 15 earlier. Thank you.
7 in a rugby sevens team. Hangman AJ Wilson says 24/7 title to be at Takeover.
No.
Robert,
Actually, do you know what? That's actually not the worst shout in the world. I actually don't
That'd be
know.
quite
he
fun.
could be in the crowd with it.
Yeah, it might be a way to pop people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, he said, like, you cut to people in the crowd. It's Truth standing there with the Bible, and then all of a sudden someone tries to attack him. Like, Tesco's finest tries to attack tries to attack Truth.
Well,
And they-
Tesco's are 24/7.
there you go. They
There you
brawl
go.
into the ring. Truth pins him.
Depends
and
on
goes
which
on his
ones they
way.
are, though, Andy. All the
That's true.
metros.
That could be a bit of fun, actually. That's a great shout.
Well, there you go. Robert Caruso says, greetings from AEW country of Jacksonville, Florida.
The home of
Hi.
Jason from Good Place.
Yeah.
That's
And they
exactly
picked
what I was thinking.
Jaguars were.
And they picked Jacksonville because it's awful.
Yes.
Star Recording, thank you so much. You're being very generous today. It says, which 2 WWE stars from any brand would have the best submission match?
Which 2 stars from
Any
Any
brand.
would have the best submissions match?
I mean, Gulak should be in there, definitely.
Yeah. Don't know. Or I never was thinking
Or
it was Zack Sabre
O'Reilly.
Jr. Riley, yeah. Yeah, so okay, I'm going to go with that.
Joe.
Tamina and Dana Brooke.
If you're going to say Joe's a good shout, if you're going to say 2 brands, I'm going to say Gulak and Kyle O'Reilly. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
Pete Dunne.
Oh, yeah.
Pete Dunne is really good for his mat-based work. Yeah. A lot of good options there. Not many people on the main roster. Cesaro, maybe.
Baszler and
Baszler's a great shout. Rousey.
Rousey.
Liverpool's number
Oh,
one.
that'd be fun.
What's
It's
the
not
next
really
one?
submissions. She's got
Tim.
much submissions. Rousey's got that one that she does.
Yeah.
The old armbar.
Yeah.
And she tells you she's going to do it that 20 seconds beforehand.
I'm going to break her arm.
I'm going to do it!
It's very hard to get out of at
Yeah,
that point.
absolutely.
No!
Tim.
Get
Well,
out of the damn way.
Stephanie McMahon blocked it for ages. Tim Arndt says, do you reckon the 24/7 title will show up in NXT, or has Vince already forgotten that the title can go there, or doesn't Triple H want it on his show?
I think it'd be, as I said, I
Imagine
think,
Triple H doesn't want it on his show.
yeah, I think it'd be a fun little thing though for TakeOver. I don't think like an NXT guy will win it. But
No.
like, or like if he does, Truth will win it back at the end of the night. But like, I think the problem with the 24/7 title going to NXT is you've then got to plan in advance who's going to have the belt for Monday. And so you'd have to, like, because you tape 4 weeks worth of TV.
Yeah.
You can't do a title change that's then different to what happens on Raw.
No.
Because Raw's like Raw and SmackDown are live.
Yeah.
So you've got to know if this was one cohesive company, which it should be. If this was one cohesive company where you could plan this out, then yeah, you could have the 24/7 brand, the 24/7 title go to NXT and NXT UK and plan ahead. Because
Yeah.
you'd be like, okay, cool. Well, we've taped this week, which means that Kona Reeves was champ at the end of this, so we can now mention that on Raw. But by the end of this taping cycle, Truth's going to be the champion again.
Yeah.
So we've got to know in 4 weeks' time on Raw, we've got a segment with Truth with the championship belt over here.
Yeah.
So it's hard to kind of line them up. But with NXT TakeOver being live, as long as your WWE main roster guys got the belt by the end of the night, you can get away with it.
Or as long as you send the NXT guy to Raw for the night, like, you know.
It's always pop. Again,
Yeah.
then that only works if it's a cohesive company.
Yeah, exactly. That you can do that stuff, but also 24/7 belt.
Yeah, there's a lot of people really hoping for like Brock's going to cash in for the 24/7 title. I'm like, I mean, it's a joke belt.
Yeah.
Like it's a joke title.
It's a joke title that they had no thoughts of jokes for. Like, this is the problem. Is like they didn't.
It's like the Big Bang Theory.
They haven't had a meeting where they've gone like, oh, what would be really good ideas to do with this like fun belt? They were just like, oh, just give it to R-Truth and he can do like goofy running around stuff. Like Drake Maverick's having a whale of a time with it on Twitter, but I feel like that's all
That's just him
fueled.
doing his own
Like
thing.
he's just doing his own thing, and like. I get that was part of the reason for it, but on the telly product, you've got to do some thinking and write some jokes, or at least have some segments for it.
Maybe.
Yeah. Not maybe, yes!
Jared Thomas says, are you looking forward to Moxley versus Juice Robinson?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And the rumor is as well that he might be part of the G1. Which would be very, very cool as well. So there's a lot of interesting people he could have matches with. That's what Tony Khan was saying, that basically until they start on weekly TV, he's free to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could definitely see Moxley being part of the G1. But him against Juice Robinson would be a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Yeah. I'm excited to see anything that Moxley's doing at the moment. Kind of like, all of a sudden, my interest in Moxley's been completely reignited.
Yeah, I feel like it's that same refresh that when he returned from injury and he was all bulky and shaved the head and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so ready to see what Dean Ambrose does now.
Wacky Dean is gone. We've got Prison Dean. This is really interesting.
Yeah, and then he went straight back to being Wacky Dean again. I was like, okay, well,
getting injections in the butt.
Sad times.
Yeah.
I just hope he's developed like one more move because I'm just so bored of his matches. Sorry. What am I doing?
Randy shoots hard.
Shoots hard. He's going to block me on Twitter.
I agree with that though. I do think like Dean Ambrose was coasting in WWE, but how could you not coast when you're not given anything to work with? Like,
well, that's it.
And I think the thing is, like, the thing the Jericho podcast proves, he's got a very deep understanding of what his character is, what he should be doing, how to simply pop crowds is another thing. He understands the very fundamental basics of putting together a show. Like he said about his return when Seth Rollins introduces him, then the music plays, and then by the time he's come out, the pop's died.
Yeah.
Like, the pop is for when Seth says something, and not for the performer who gets to come out.
Yeah,
so, like,
9 months
just play
away.
the music, or better yet, just come in.
Yeah. I think that I would say in defense of Dean Ambrose matches, and he, mentioned this on the podcast, and he was like, I don't have any creative license in this.
No,
because I go to work, all my promos were scripted, all my matches are laid out by producers and agents. I don't input anything into this.
No.
And so I think that's what a lot of the boys in the back are like. Was like, well, we don't do anything. We are literally actors. We're not wrestlers anymore.
We're just doing.
We are following the beats.
Yeah.
We're following the beats that we're told to follow. Mm-hmm. And so that's why some people have these amazing matches because they're laid out to have amazing matches, and some people have bland matches because they've been laid out to be bland matches.
Yeah.
Which is the problem with. That's what I said. Your creative process sucks.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see him coming out to not.
Hated that music. It's my one thing against Dean Ambrose. I've always hated his theme music. It's absolute crap.
What about
rubbish?
Anyway, let's move on.
Shoots
vitriol.
Shoots hard on Dean Ambrose theme tune. Of
all
all the
absolutely
things.
dicked on Moxley for the
Jobber
funness.
JJ says, to make it easier, I'm not sure if this does make it easier actually, was your favourite ever TakeOver match?
Dunn Bate.
Oh, it's so hard.
Dunn Bate's easily my favourite.
Dunn Bate was so good.
Or Walter Dunn, actually.
Walter Dunn.
Yeah.
Gargano Almas.
Yeah, Gargano Almas is a really good shout. That first one they had at Brooklyn.
Yeah,
really
I loved Gargano Ciampa 3 as well.
Yeah,
although most people like 2 more. Both are very good.
Yeah, that DIY revival match from Toronto.
North American title ladder match.
Yeah. There's a plethora to pick from.
Yeah, like you said, the revival DIY.
Bailey Banks from Brooklyn 1.
Yeah.
Bailey Banks, that was an amazing match. Loved that match.
Sami Zayn, well, it wasn't even a takeover match. Just Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura.
That was takeover.
It was takeover, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that match.
Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens.
That had a really fascinating finish.
Yeah.
Really, really fascinating finish, which I just didn't see. And it was such an interesting layout for a match. So, yeah, I think that would be up there. I'm not sure it'd be one of my favourites, but it certainly would be certainly in the conversation.
Start recording says Walter versus Luchasaurus, please.
2 big lads. Two big lads.
Slapping each other. As Drew McIntyre put it, with him talking about having a match with Walter, it was just be 2 big lads slapping each other. Carly Strayer says Laurie is the man and did an amazing super kick.
Oh yeah,
I did. Yeah,
very good super kick as Laurie.
Yeah, I practice a lot at home.
Yeah,
much to everyone's annoyance. They're like, "Stop super kicking me."
Judas Black says, "Where's Victor Vega?" I'm asking the same thing with his strange messages. And then Sean Martinez says, "Just donated to have Luke say, and I can hear it later in the podcast version. Come on, you Reds, we're forever Liverpool."
I mean, come on, you Reds, forever Liverpool. Like I don't care.
Do it with less. Less.
Oh wait, sorry, no. He actually said "Come on, you Blues, forever Everton." But sorry, we'll have to move past that one.
Cool. I mean, I said some words
for Everton.
You know what I mean? The words that don't mean anything. Come on, you Blues also doesn't really mean anything.
Come on, you Blues.
There are loads of blue football teams. There are loads of red football teams.
No, just the one. Subscribe to says, "How come there wasn't a double or nothing ramble?"
Logistics again kind of got in the way. It was just it was unfortunate a weekend where we already had things sorted out for the Sunday, and then Monday was a bank holiday here in the UK, so I was the only person in the office. And then by that point, you're in on Tuesday, you've got Raw and SmackDown and things like that to do. It just unfortunately, so we did it on the podcast. So if you are a podcast listener, you can hear our thoughts on it there. But it was just a case of we couldn't ever get around to doing it. We wanted to do it, really, really wanted to do it. We're doing it for like Fight Fest and Fight for the Fallen down the line. Just we wanted to do it for Double or Nothing. It's just we couldn't get it to work out. Yeah, it was a real shame.
Tomo, 2 more, both from Tomo. This first says, "Ever since you started watching wrestling, who has been your personal favourite face and heel?"
Raven for both.
Raven for both. Oh, I don't know.
And The Rock's actually. The Rock's my favourite babyface of all time.
I did used to love The Rock.
Loved The Rock when I was a kid.
Scotty Too Hotty.
Oh,
used to love.
Now
Scotty
you're talking about baby
I used
faces.
to love Scotty Too
Scotty
Hotty
Too
as
Hotty
a
was
baby
amazing.
face. Yeah, wasn't he incredible?
So good.
Favorite heel was Kevin Owens.
Of all time.
Chuck Palumbo.
Chuck Palumbo. Favorite heel.
Jamie Noble.
He was a really I'm trying to think of what my favorite heels were. Cactus Jack's actually another one for babyface as well, like that 2000 run he had, or that very early 2000 run he had. I'm not sure for favourite heels ever since I've been watching wrestling. No, I wasn't really paying attention a lot around that time. Like when Edge was on top, I was really done with WWE.
I don't mean even when Edge was on top. I mean when it was Edge and Christian.
Oh, actually, that's really good because I really didn't like Edge and Christian.
Yeah, I hated them.
I loved to hate them. Yeah, so maybe Edge and Christian.
And Jericho when he was doing heel run as well. Like that
loved
time.
Umaga.
Umanga.
Umanga.
It's for Regal's.
Gotta read your manga.
You gotta read your manga.
Go on, go home and read your manga.
And most recently, just Daniel Bryan, both.
Yeah.
Brian
is a babyface and as a heel has been terrific.
And lastly, Tomo says, "Speaking of Bate versus Dunn, WWE just posted the full match on their YouTube channel." So,
well, there you go. If you're not a subscriber, if you're not a network subscriber even, you can go and watch that match because it is absolutely chef's kiss. And they did that because we just recently reviewed it on Wrestle Ramble Extra. I've been told that by my WWE sources. They were like, "Yeah, we had so many people telling us that your review was so good that we had to put the match for free up on YouTube." It's direct quotes from Vince.
I hate it when they do that.
Yeah, it's direct quotes.
Oh, it's still me. I've been sitting here for ages.
Just reacting silently. But yeah, so is that all of our super chats?
That is all of our super chats. We are
I'm
done.
sweating in this
Me
room.
too.
We need to get some fresh air in here. But that is all we've got time for on this show. Thank you so much for watching and chatting along with us. It's been terrific having you around. Hope you enjoy NXT this coming Saturday. We're certainly going to enjoy it. We'll try and do a review next week. But I have been Luke Owen. This has been Alfagador Laurie Blake. That was Randy Andy Dadson. And that were NXT.